McVay and Les Snead and Kevin Demoff, those are the coach, GM, and president here in Los Angeles for the Rams. They flew back last night on a happy team plane from Seattle because totally different situation, same team, same location, same night in the schedule, Thursday Night Football. They came back winners. And they came back with a bounce-back win after losing in division at home to Arizona, staring a sudden 3-2 record and an 0-2 record in division in a 4-day span, right in the face. Hey, you beat the world champs, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You're 3-0. Congratulations. Guess what? Over a 4-day span, you're not only going to lose 2 in a row, but 2 in a row in division. And they came up with a first half with just 3 points. Only the 5th time since Sean McVay was hired that the Rams had just 3 points at halftime. Still wound up with 476 yards of total offense because they just pushed the pedal to the metal in the second half. And words I didn't think I'd say into this microphone. Certainly not when I left yesterday. A huge second half drive in response to Geno Smith. Because that's what happened last night. Weird, wild stuff happens when the Seahawks play football, man. And when the Seahawks play football in their building at night. It's just weird. It's weird.
It can't do normal.
Double punts occur.
Double punts.
I didn't think you could double punt. Who thought you could double punt?
Mike Pereira, God bless him. He was so confused during the broadcast.
It was, who? Not even Mike thought,
you could double punt.
Who could double punt? Why would you double punt? How about this? A team that had a punt blocked, and it wasn't just like because the snap was wrong.
No, it was.
Or it wasn't just because the punter bobbled it.
Nope.
It was like snap good, handle good, flat out, two-handed.
Right.
Dominique Wilkins.
Just like boom.
Right.
Yeah.
Dunk right on the punter.
Yeah.
And the ball is thoroughly blocked and goes to the side and is now spinning like Steve Smith Sr. had just scored a touchdown and lit his hands over it like it was a fire. Rubbed his hands over it like it was a fire. And Dixon picks it up. By the way, you have to look at this video if you haven't seen it. Dixon runs by it, and even though the ball's to his right, bends down with his right hand and plucks it. With his right hand, spinning. One-handed grabbed it, spinning.
It's amazing.
And then starts running for his life, realizes he's about to lose his life, and thinks of the concept of a double punt.
I'm not doing this.
So let me get rid of this ball real quick.
Hold on a second.
Double punt.
And then he kicks it 68 yards.
Right.
And so a team that had a punt blocked netted 62 yards on the kick. That happened last night. And then Johnny Hecker later on in the second half pins Seattle inside its own 5 and had the temerity to only punt once in the process.
How dare you.
Audacity.
And that's where Geno Smith picks things up and leads a 98-yard drive for his first touchdown pass since 2017 as a Giant. Yes.
As a Giant?
As a Giant, yes. Both New York teams
I forgot that.
were able to soak in the Geno experience. But guess what? I don't know what happened. But they let Geno cook. Hashtag. As Kenny Mayne would say for his beautiful Seattle Seahawks in their color rush uniforms, the hashtag after the words, let Geno cook hashtag. And he cooked.
It looked good.
And the Rams responded as Russell stewed. Now, he's just like every alpha male, future Hall of Fame, yeah, I'll say it, quarterback, where he's probably just eating himself alive. That he cannot believe that the middle finger on his throwing hand had a top knuckle situation where it was just flapping around.
Yeah,
it was gross. It was like a mud flap. And, he held it up, Cooper's looking at it. Zan's looking at it like, what's that, Dad? I'm like, yeah, that's a finger that's just flapping around, and he gave it a try. And last night was the battle of the, it was the battle of the fingers, because Stafford had one. He said pop out, looked a little bit left, and he just popped it back in, and Aikman was all over that. So was the Fox broadcast taking a look at how he was performing with that, and it, as I mentioned, just 3 points in the first half. And you're wondering, is there something wrong with him? Because he's airmailing throws that he's going to make, and he should make, because they're wide open receivers there. And he wound up with 365 yards and a score anyway. And his only blemish, pretty much, other than the overthrows on the night, was him not overthrowing everybody on the field of play, like just not putting it in row 5, and he got picked off trying to throw it away in the end zone. But the Rams, despite all of that, made some plays. Aaron Donald wound up with his 88th and a half sack of his career, which is the most in Rams history, tied for the most in Rams history. Asterisk. Deacon Jones's numbers are not recorded because the sack had not yet existed. Right. But for the moment, he's an all-time great. And now his body, helmet, arm, whatever you want to say, has now bagged Drew Brees' thumb. If you remember, his thumb broke a couple years ago when he followed through and hit Aaron Donald on the helmet. And it is now claimed Russell Wilson's throwing hand middle finger. Yeah. And we don't know. Pete Carroll called it a badly sprained finger. That looked badly ugly.
Brian Baldinger was looking at those fingers last night going, ooh.
Yeah. Those fingers. Well done. Nice. Well done.
Torrey Holt, like, what?
Ronnie Lott was like, geez.
And so, Ronnie would just say, cut it off. I want to play. And we don't know when Russ come back. Good thing they've got that mini bye, and the Rams with a huge W. It is so big. It's one of those, when you look back on the season, big. It's one of those Matthew Stafford battling through injuries and the team battling through all sorts of problems with the double punch that you don't see coming, and Geno Smith coming in and lighting it up, and you're not playing all that well on defense, and you still come out with the win, and it's in division, and you avoid a 2-game losing streak in division to fall to 0-2, and instead now you're 4-1, and you sit back and you say, okay, Niners. The Seahawks won in your building last week, and Arizona won in our building last week, and we won in Seattle's building this week. That's 3 NFC West games. Road team 3-0. How about making a 4-0 against Arizona? And it would be just the most NFC West 2021 thing for that to happen. To make it 4-1 at the top, 3-2 for the Niners, and then 2-3 for the Seahawks right after that. And with Seattle, they got to stare themselves in the mirror and say, what are we defensively? And how bad is Russell Wilson? And what does that mean for the 2021 season? Right here on the outset of October. It is one of those crossroad moments for Seattle, and we'll see how that all plays out. They're just 2-3. But that's my take on Thursday Night Football last night.